Hello, friends. Welcome to another Thursday Night Live. Tonight, we are going to create a gorgeous, beautiful handmade thank you card for fall and winter with the Winterly Treetops stamp set and the entire Nests of Winter suite of products, which is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. So many of you are already here and hanging out in the comments. Hello to everyone, Janice and Karen and Ellen. So glad y'all are here. If you are here and watch me live, leave me a comment. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know if you make other cards for winter besides Christmas cards, because I know we think winter cards and we think Christmas cards, but we still have to send thank yous. We still have to send thinking of yous. So here are some ideas for creating other winter cards as well. If you are watching the replay, shout out to you. I love that y'all come later and watch the replay. Leave me a comment and let me know if you make other cards for winter besides Christmas cards. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope that you will hit that subscribe button so that you always know when I go live. I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. I'm going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by using stamps, ink, and paper to create absolutely gorgeous handmade gifts and cards. And we are going to jump right in and get started with it. Hello, Jill in Libertyville, Illinois. All right, I'm going to make my workspace look just a little bit bigger and me look just a little bit smaller. So there we go. Tonight, I don't know. Does it look really dark for you tonight? For some reason, I just feel like it's really dark, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, this is the Winterly Treetops stamp set, which is so cute. It has these birds in it, and we have some sentiments, sending thanks, thinking of you. A friend like you brings me happiness. Just absolutely cuteness. You know what I'm going to try to do real quick? Let's see if this helps anything. I just feel like things are not as clear as they should be. I'm going to take an alcohol wipe. I'm going to wipe off my camera. So you might want to close your eyes if you get a little seasick, because we're just going to come up here and go zoop, zoop, zoop. Oh, that's not the right one. Here, we'll come down here too. Woo. Clean that up. See if we get any bit clearer. I don't know if that helped anything at all, but anyway, we tried. So really cute stamp set. It also comes with coordinating dies, which are super awesome because, let me show you, there is this great big die. Oh, come on. There's a great big die, and it cuts like a frame out. Okay, so it cuts like this greenery frame out. We have some birds, and you can see this bird is going to cut out our stamped images. This one too, and then we have some to cut out this greenery and then some other ones too. So lots of fun stuff in there. The suite also has the birch wood 3D embossing folder and the natural color shimmer gems and some natural tone linen thread. So really good stuff. And then of course the absolutely gorgeous pattern paper. Now this is kind of just the pattern side. So we just have some nice simple patterns on there. And then you flip it over and you have things like the pussy willows and the birds. So just a whole bunch of birds. We have this really pretty one that has that you could just use for a whole card front. In fact, I have some sample cards like that. Some Queen's Anne's lace, it looks like, with some little tiny birds on it. We have this paper and those dies. So we looked at the dies and they cut out the stamped images. They also cut out the birds from this paper. And then one more set of birds. This whole thing was just upside down. But anyway, so beautiful pattern paper. It's just gorgeous. All right, let's put that aside. Let's make a card. So I'm using the Winterly Treetops. I'm actually not going to use very many of the stamps. I do want to pull out the sending thanks stamp. These are the red rubber cling stamps. And I have put the labels on the back side, so it's super sticky. I'm going to take my block and just put my block right on there, and that is going to pick up my stamp. I'll set that aside. And I am starting with a piece of Pool Party cardstock. This is 8.5 by 5.5. It is scored at 4 1/4. And that is just scoring it right in half. We'll go ahead and fold it to create our card base. There we go. And I'm going to add a piece of the pattern paper. This pattern paper, it is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Oh, look at those cute birds. They're going to get covered up. Oh no. I always feel bad like covering up one of the images, but it's a good thing. There's 2 sheets of each in every pack, so you can use both sides. There we go. I'm going to use the snowy side. This is kind of a winter card. All right, before I go any further, I do have a pair of those birds from the designer series paper, and I just kind of cut around them to make it a little bit easier to do the die cutting. So I'm going to pull out my base. Here is my base and my very, very well-loved cutting plate. I do use them forever. I'm going to put my birds on here. Now, just like I always tell you, I'm putting my birds way over in the corner. Whenever you're die cutting, so many people, oops, those are not the dies we want. We want the winterly treetop dies. So many people say, they have the problem that their cutting plate gets very, very warped. You'll notice mine is extremely well loved, but look at it. It is hardly warped at all. It is very, very flat. The reason for that is I hardly ever cut right here in the center. Now it is cut there because when I do things like cut over here on the edge, it cuts towards the center. But when I am laying things on my cutting plate, I always try to push them as much as I can towards the corners and the sides. And that is just going to help you put the pressure, because this die is raised up a little bit, which puts pressure on these plastic plates. And that is what causes them to warp and bubble. That little bit of extra pressure. So if it's always in the center, that is where your card is going to warp. But if you move your dies around and you try to go for the outside, it is going to help keep your plates nice and flat. So tip for the day. All right, I'm using a sticky note to put that die on there just so it stays in place. I didn't use the Nested Essentials dies. I'm getting just a piece of white cardstock that I have on hand. Welcome, Mary Lou. It's your first time to catch me live. Oh, well, I'm so glad. We use the Nested Essentials dies. These are one of my favorite dies, especially this rounded stitched rectangle. I just think it's awesome. So I'll put that on the white. I'm going to add my top plate. And I'm going to run this through my cut and emboss machine, which is over here on my shelf. So you can't see it, but I think you guys know what it looks like. Well, some days I pull it out, some days I leave it here on the shelf. And I'm just going to roll that through so that we die cut these. Peel off my sticky note. Look at that. We have our little birdies that are die cut. Aren't they so sweet? And now we don't have to do any coloring. Yay. And then I have my die cut rectangle there. That rounded rectangle. I love it. All right. I do want to do just a little bit of stamping on here with that sentiment. Remember how I pulled the sentiment out? We're going to stamp that sentiment in Pool Party to match all the Pool Party that is on our card. So here's my sending thanks. I'm just going to ink that up on my stamp. Just tap, tap, tap. It's always better to tap a whole bunch of times. You don't want to push down really hard. You just want to do tap, tap, tap lightly. And then we'll stamp it right on there. And there we go. Sending thanks and so much love and much love. So sweet. So sweet. All right. I have another piece of the designer series paper. This is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And I have another piece of Pool Party. This is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And you can see those birds. It's the back of this one. And I'm going to adhere this on here. This is just going to give it a nice little border. And then I'm going to add my sentiment piece to this. And I am just using some multi-purpose green glue. Just need a little bit. You know what? My sample card, I used a smaller I used a smaller die. Oh well. I used the rectangle just below that one. We'll just go with this though. We'll just make it work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually cut off this little bit of white right here. I'm going to run this right up to the edge. So it's going to go right here. We're going to add this on. We are going to put this on with some Stampin' Dimensionals though. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card front with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And it's not this one. I don't want that one. Here we go. There we go. And if you haven't seen Stampin' Dimensionals before, these are just little bits of foam that have sticky on both sides. And what they do is they just lift up your cardstock a little bit and give it just a little bit of depth and dimension. I always think, like, is a card really handmade if it does not have dimensionals on it? All right, so this piece goes in the center of my card. If I can get it, and then I'm going to add dimensionals to my little birds. I'm not going to add the dimensionals that twig right there. We're actually going to put just a little bit of glue on there. So we are going to add dimensionals on here. Get a well-supported birdie. I'm going to try to see how far down I can put a mini on its tail. There we go. So pull these off. Expose all the stickiness on the back. So they're sticky. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of green glue. This is where that twig is on the side. And I'm just going to add a little bit in there so that it sticks down flat. All right. And this is going to come in. Actually, I could need to cut that just a little bit more to get it at the angle I want. Let's see how that works. That's better. All right. And I'm just going to add that in. I'm going to hold that down so it sticks down. I like to have, when it looks like the branch is going off the edge, I like to stick it down so it's flat and not dimensioned. I don't know. It's one of those little things. It's one of my little quirks. All right, let's add some jewels to this, shall we? Oh, Karen, I'm so glad you like it. All right, so I have the Earth Tones Shimmer Gems, which are shimmery. And I think I'm going to use these ones. I think they're like basic beige. I don't know. They're like not white. They're not really ivory. They're not really brown. Maybe they're supposed to be crumb cake. They look kind of basic beige to me, though. So that's what I'm going to use. Using the putty tip of my Take Your Pick tool. When you do this, when you need to tighten it and get a little bit more putty, turn it just a little tiny bit and then wait, because the putty doesn't come out immediately. It like takes a minute. And if you just keep turning it, you'll end up like pushing out way too much putty. You just need to turn it a little teeny tiny bit and then wait for the putty to come out. So let's add some shimmer gems in here. And I just add just a little bit of sparkle. A little sparkle. I think I'm going to add 5 of them. 2 big ones and 3 small ones. And there we go. There is our card with the gems. Now, I, of course, have more cards to share with you. Isn't that pretty? Those birds are just so cute. Thank you, Ellen. Now, some of these, we made these this summer. Stampin' Up had an event for demonstrators. And this was the set that we used. It was ages ago. And this was one of the cards that we created during that day. So again, this I stamped and then I colored it with Stampin' Blends. And you can see that birch wood 3D embossing folder. I did that on the crumb cake in the background. So there's that one. That was one. And then this one was another one that was done. I think I made some changes to it, but it was basically based on a design that we did that day. And you can see I added some of the green linen thread under there. We have more sparkle gems. And this I actually colored with watercolor pencils. So there we go. And then I made a really easy card and then I stepped it up. So here is the super simple card. This is that Nest of Winter paper, and I just cut out that piece and used it just like it is. So basically I added a sentiment to it. Super simple, right? Then I wanted to kind of step it up. So here's the simple version. And here is the version that I that I added things to. So I die cut. I basically was kind of playing around with this. I die cut some of the pussy willows using the dies. Okay, so those are just cut from cardstock. I also stamped some and used the dies to cut those out. I fussy cut this little bird right here from the paper so he could sit up on the dimensionals and be sitting on these pussy willows that I stamped. Yeah, so I just kind of added all of that. This is got dimensionals under it. We have some baker's twine on here, just a whole bunch of stuff going on there. But you can see, same basic design, just zhuzhed up a little bit. So there we go. There are my cards for tonight. Now next week, I have kind of a little announcement to make. I've been thinking about this for a while and just haven't jumped on it, but I have finally decided that I am going to change. I am not going to be doing mystery stamping. So if you've been around and you know me, you know that every month, usually on the second Tuesday of the month, we do mystery stamping. And it's just, I don't know, I've been doing mystery stamping for like 4 years. And I decided I'm just going to change it a little bit. So we're still going to do a stamp along. I'm still going to have a supply list for you on Monday night that you can get in the description to the video. But instead of doing mystery stamping and giving you clues, what we're going to do is we are going to look at a card sketch. I'm going to call it, I think, super sketches. We're going to look at a card sketch and we're going to make a card together. Everyone makes their own card using that same basic sketch and all the dimensions and everything. So instead of me giving you clues, we'll actually just be making a card together based on a sketch. So it's very similar to mystery stamping, just a little bit different. So I hope that you like it. We'll see how it goes. That is going to be next week, Tuesday. We're going to do super sketches on Tuesday. Next week, Thursday, I'm going to be coming back with another stamp set. Haven't decided yet what we're going to be doing. Yeah, all sorts of good stuff going on. So have a great weekend. I'm going on a little vacation this weekend. So if you email me, I will get back to you, but it might take me a minute. And I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you next Tuesday.